Okay, we're talking about the steps of GIST, generating interactions between schemata and text. What this basically means is that you are helping your kids find a way to connect to the words in an informational or narrative or expository piece of text in order to help them fully understand it and encapsulate that in a smaller number of words. All right, so we have GIST, generating interactions between schemata and text. And we have 4 steps, okay? Delete unnecessary or repetitious material. Okay, by now you should be able to say to yourself, okay, she's doing something with gestures. That must mean she's using a bodily kinesthetic technique for teaching. Okay, the steps are delete unnecessary or repetitious material, collapse details into broader categories, find key ideas, and use the author's structure, okay? So delete unnecessary or repetitious. When you're looking for the most important parts of an informational piece of text, there are some things within there that you don't need to capture, you don't need to repeat. They're either going to be just not really necessary to the main ideas of the piece, or they're going to be something that is repeated over and over again, the same idea, so you can get rid of them. All right? So delete unnecessary or repetitious material, collapse details and examples into broader categories. If you, for example, are reading a piece about mummies and you find that the author talks about all the different things that a mummy would have buried with him. A favorite tool, for children it was a toy, a favorite pet, a spear, water. Sometimes they buried water and food with them, believing that they would have thirst and hunger in the afterlife. Who knows? But all of these things can be captured into one overarching idea. Okay, so instead of saying this, they buried this, and this with the mummies, you can just say that either favorite items or items necessary for the afterlife were buried with them. You still know some of the items that were buried with them, but in terms of our summary, in terms of really condensing it down to the most important ideas, the most important words, you've taken out 20 or 30 words from the piece to just use maybe 10. Okay? So we've talked about deleting unnecessary or repetitious material. We've talked about collapsing details or examples into broader categories. Now we're going to be talking about finding key ideas, okay? These are the ideas that the author is putting forth as the most important in the piece. So as you read, just like you can be a detective or a news reporter, and you can think to yourself, okay, what are the main things I need to know? As in, if you're thinking about a news story, you're going to go with the who, what, where, when, why, and how. So as you're looking and as you're reading, as you're thinking, be on the lookout for the sentences that answer these questions about the piece that you're reading, because those are going to be your key ideas to save for later. And the last part is to use the author's structure. Now what this means is that you need to know a little bit about structure. Okay, so structure can be description, where you're just describing something. A subcategory of description is actually called enumeration, and that's where simply you just have a list of things that the author wants to tell you, and he uses numbers 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All right, the author can also use a structure called comparison contrast, where you're looking at 2 different concepts or ideas, and you're talking about what's similar and what's different between them. Chronological order is another structure, and that's just simply sequence, where you're talking about things in terms of a sequence or time. Another one is problem and solution. That kind of explains itself, where the author holds up a particular problem and then talks about a solution for that problem. And the last one is cause and effect, and this is where the author discusses a particular phenomena and talks about the reasons why it happened and then what happened as a result of that phenomena. Okay? So those are some of the examples of a structure that an author can use. And capturing your summary in the form of whatever structure the author uses is very powerful, because it helps you remember what the author was trying to share with you.